Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mac and Chuck Show with your hosts, Scott McKenzie and Chuck Hill. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing tonight?
Howdy. It's hot.
It is hot. It's a little warm this evening, especially here in the pseudo studio we have tonight. How are you guys doing tonight out there? Happy Father's Day to all you fathers, and happy Father's Day to all you mothers who are fathers. So, how's Father's Day been, Mac? You'll catch up here in just
a bunch of mothers.
That's a bunch of mothers. You're all a bunch of mothers, but that's okay.
That's right. I got kids. Went to the carnival with them.
Nice.
Got heat stroke. No, I'm just hot and sweaty.
Yeah, it is hot and sweaty.
Miserable.
I've been battling our air conditioning unit here for a couple of weeks now. We had the people coming out from, well, I won't say who they were because I'm not super happy with them. But they came out, told us it was a control board, had me order the part. They told me the wrong part number, and I even double-checked. And got the new part in, and now there's another issue. So it's still a little warm here at the old studio. But as you see, Mac and I are both here in studio together tonight. So, yeah. How are we coming through it tonight? We've got kind of things are looking a little different tonight than you guys normally see us. I had some shoots over the weekend, so some equipment kind of bounced here and there, but we have all the equipment. It's just a matter of getting set up for you guys. So we're working on one mic tonight. So thanks, Lisa. Appreciate that. So yeah, let us know how we're coming through it tonight, and just make sure you can hear us okay. Not going to lie, with the heat, it's a possibility you might not get a full hour tonight, but we're going to do the best that we can to get it to you.
I second that motion.
I second that emotion.
I didn't say emotion. I said motion.
Hey, I can. Hey, sorry. Okay.
I'll walk out right now.
Sweet. So tonight you'll be watching the Chuck Show. No. So let us know if you guys will how your Father's Day is going. If you're a mother who's been having to step into the role of dad, then
Isn't that what Mother's Day is?
Well, it is what Mother's Day is. Okay. But I will tell you, there's a lot of moms out there, because there are a lot of deadbeat dads out there that have walked out, that mom has to pick up the slack. So we definitely want to let you mothers know that if you're pulling double duty, today is your day just as much as it is any other father out there. So that's why I was saying Happy Father's Day to us, Happy Father's Day to you. And if you're a mother that's a father, Happy Father's Day to you. If you're a mother who identifies as a father,
oh my God,
Happy Father's Day to you also. So
it's too hot for me to put up with your pseudo humor.
Hey, I like my humor. Some people like it also. So as you can see, no DJ Whiteout tonight. But you know what? We may have a shorter show than we thought.
All right.
Give us just a minute, folks. Mac, it's your show for the minute.
Oh, come on. You always do this. And you're going to do it to me in the heat, too.
I am going to do it to you in the heat. Sorry, bro.
I'll just sit here and look cute. I can't do that either. Who am I fooling? Oh. Old age is a you-know-what. Throw out my back at work. Sitting in this chair without support. That's fun. Let's see. How did the week go? That Chubby, you'd never see me post about that. Oh, we got questions. How did the mayor thing go?
Oh, that went great. Go ahead and let him know.
Sure, I got this. Mayor's listening series went well. We had a lot of views on our page and on the city page. Hopefully, we had a few technical issues that we're trying to correct for the next time as far as lighting and things like that to help give it a better video quality. Next one is hopefully a lot of people. Oh, hey, and we're back. No memory card.
That's okay. Folks, I'm going to own that one there. Sometimes you just need power. If you know me, you know I hate wires.
No.
Oh, yes.
Those are your friend.
So, all right, so where are we at?
Huge numbers watching. Yeah. Okay, the 62040. I was just telling them how we combined. I don't know if you looked at the Granite page's numbers, but overall, how many views did we have throughout the week? Did it say?
Throughout the week, Kim, I'm not sure how many you guys had on 62040, but we had total between the city's page and our page close to 3,000 views. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, hopefully with more people tune in next Monday, maybe we can double those numbers, or maybe even double the people in the auditorium.
Yeah, that would be great. The goal for these the Mayor's Listening Series is to get people in the seats to interact with the people who are running your city. And that's really what the
Tim
whole
says close to
goal of
900
it is.
on the 62040, so that's almost $4,000 in there.
Nice, very cool. So you guys are watching and you're listening, and that's awesome. We appreciate that. Again, on June 28th, we'll be going live again, bringing you guys the Mayor's Listening Series. And I believe this City Clerk Jenna Young and City Treasurer Sherry Grimm is going to be taking questions in that. Really encourage you guys to watch. Really encourage you guys to be there at the Granite City Cinema. It's nice. It's air conditioned, which is also nice. They've got popcorn and soda that you guys can have there. Martin Griffin will get you guys set up with that.
So the antithesis of here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So it is pretty warm here. I had to change shirts before the show because I was sweating, getting the
Sweating? No,
set
you were
up.
drenched. Let's not be modest.
I tell you what, Mac, I shot a wedding yesterday, and congratulations to Paul and Chris if you guys are watching. But I shot a wedding yesterday, and thankfully it was here in Granite. It was an outdoor wedding. We got everything in right before the storm hit, but if you'd looked at me right after the wedding, you'd have thought the storm had already come. My shirt was just drenched. So
Well, it wasn't exactly cool yesterday either.
No, it was not cool. But
Not
the wedding was
cool.
Not cool, man. Hey, man.
Okay.
So yeah, the Mayor's Listening Series, it went really great. I think I heard you mention we're going to kind of change a couple things around.
Yeah, we talked about the lighting to kind of
Yep.
give it a bit so it doesn't seem so glary. Is that a word? It's
Glary?
A word.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Glary? I
does it
think
work? It
So,
works.
John, just so you know, we did get the part and the AC's installed, but once I got the part installed, we got a brand new error code. And it had nothing to do with my installation. I double checked all that. And totally different error code, but now it's something with the blower, it says, the capacity of the blower motor. Yeah.
There's a joke there. We'll just let that one walk on by.
Yeah, we'll let that one go by. So again, folks, you're seeing a little bit of a different show tonight because we've got a one-camera setup going on. So as we look down, we're reading your comments, taking a look at them, making sure we can answer all those burning questions that you've got going on. So
No, we're not going to talk about Chuck's bodily fluids. That's the last thing. It's not even on the list.
I don't want to talk about my bodily fluids.
Hallelujah.
See, Lisa says that she really thinks it's important for those that can't be there to still be involved in our government. Lisa, that's a great point, and it's kind of the whole point of us airing the show for people who can't be there. There is an ASL interpreter that's there also. We should mention that. I think that's important. We are going to try to incorporate that into the live cast during our next show so you can see both the ASL interpreter and you can see the actual forum itself. Kim says, all right, awesome. She says the first Steel City Music Fest was a success. So that's awesome. I did catch some of your live broadcast of that, Kim. I think it was what you were broadcasting live. And that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Angie says, Happy Father's Day, Scott. Happy Father's Day, Chuck. Rock and roll, Angie. Thank you.
So should we call this the studio anymore, or is this the sauna?
I think it's going to be the sauna.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. You like the glare that you were talking, the shine? You got a little more shine than I do going on there.
I'm sweating like a pig. Oink, oink.
So, all right. So, what's on your minds tonight? I got a couple of things I want to talk about, just kind of city related. And then, if there's something you guys would like to talk about, by all means, let us know. We definitely want to get those up here on the board.
Actually, Miller, I did not eat popcorn with the butter. I had plain popcorn. So get off my case about the very salt lick they call Vegemite.
The butter's awesome. However,
I didn't have any.
I know. Thank you. Because when you're dealing with equipment, it's always nice not to get butter all over the equipment.
That's why.
See, smart guy, this one.
Sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, sometimes. Same here, sometimes.
I'm going to Waldorf to your staff now. I'll throw you over the balcony.
Love the Muppets references.
I got a million of them.
So, well, that's the age we grew up in.
True.
Age of the Muppets. We grew up in the fun age. We grew up in an age where technology didn't rule our lives.
Thank God they didn't have smartphones then.
Yeah, no kidding. And we say that as, people are probably watching on their smartphones tonight. So, a couple of things came up this week. I do.
The temperature.
The temperature. Oh my gosh, yes. So, as you know, now Mac doesn't know this is coming, so this may catch him off guard. It's nothing bad though. We like to build up businesses here in Granite City, right? We really like to talk highly of them. It's not a bad thing,
Okay.
I promise, not for you or any small businesses. But I'm going to rant here for a minute because I'm not only hoping that people are watching the show, I hope you're sharing the show also. And I really want what I have to say to speak to some people. Because one of the things that I found this week in one of the city forums is there's a lot of negativity going on there. And there's a lot of, well, why did this happen in Granite City? Why has this happened in the past in Granite City? And there's not a whole lot of people paying attention to what's going on in Granite City and the positive changes that are coming here in Granite City. So I'd really like to take a moment. First, I'm going to talk about, I think a lot of this has to do with attitude here in the town. And I don't necessarily know that it's attitude of certain things. Yes, we're killing a kid upstairs, if you can hear that. I don't necessarily know that it's the attitude of
I'll take care of
a government or what it is, because I can tell you that our new government that's here now in Granite City that's local is really trying their damnedest to make sure that this is a great town to live in. Not just a good town. They're doing their best to make sure that it's a great town to live in. And so one of the things I want to say is we really need to do something as citizens to kind of help that attitude turn around. And I'm going to rant a little bit here
Before
about.
you do that, can I interject something?
Sure.
And this is from an outsider's point of view that, oh, what'd you do?
You're good.
What'd you do? Okay, there we go. Let me play devil's advocate for a minute. Where if you ask a question, it doesn't necessarily have to be viewed as negative. For example, a business that founded itself here, built a store here, closed recently.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be negative for people to ask why. I mean, the question may be why, so maybe we can avoid that in the future.
Okay.
I think that if you put it in that aspect, it's a relevant question. Don't just say, well, another one left. No, what can we do as a community to keep another one that had that kind of longevity to leave?
Well, I think there are two answers to your question. And so let me address what you just said. The business that we're talking about, they moved to another town. We don't know why they moved to another town. And it really doesn't matter. Because in my opinion, I never shopped there anyway. And the reason I never shopped there is because I felt that they were overpriced. And I felt that what they offered was more high end than probably what it was worth, and kind of kept themselves at a level that was not affordable for most people who live in this town. Um, so the fact that they moved could have been a number of different things. It could have just been that people weren't shopping there anymore. They didn't find it viable. It could have been something that the previous administration here in town and them couldn't agree on. It really doesn't matter. If they built here and they wanted to invest in the town, then they would have made it work. It's kind of how I see it. And I also understand that it's a business decision at times, and sometimes you have to move on. And in my opinion, that if a business wants to move on, let them move on, because as residents here, we're going to move on to something bigger and better. So that's kind of my response to that. That's just kind of my response. And again, the only time I shopped at this particular place was when I had sales, because then I could afford to close it. I felt that they were selling. To my original point, as far as attitude goes here in the town. So, and I'm going to call these places out because they're not mom and pop stores. And trust me, if you have a mom and pop store and I experience the same thing, I'm liable to call this out also, but I have yet to experience this. I was at McDonald's the other night on Johnson Road. Went through, it was pretty late in the evening, had to get some dinner, and car in front of me pulls up, and they're there for a couple minutes, there for a couple minutes, there for a couple minutes. They hear something on the speaker, and then they drive off. So then I pull up, and they have these automated greeters now, right?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, so there are actually quite a few restaurants now, drive-through restaurants, that have these automated greeters. Like, hi, my name's Joan or John or Jenny or Angie or whatever, and I'm here to take your order. Would you like to try one of our super priced combos today?
Super priced.
Super priced. And so then all of a sudden, if it's a female voice that greets you, it's this really deep male voice that comes back. Like, it's all automated. So I pull up, I get the automated response, and I start to talk, don't get a response, and then I get a different voice back that says, I'm sorry, the system's down, we can't take your order. So I'm like, what? I'm like, the system had just greeted me. So I'm like, okay, sure it is. And then I get ready to drive by. Should I have said that? Probably not. I will own that. However, as I'm driving away, I hear the drive-through person whose system is not working proceed to call me a dumbass as I'm driving by. So naturally,
put on the brakes?
I did. I stopped my car. I rolled to the back, and I'm like, "Excuse me, would you like to call me that again?" And the guy's like, "Oh, I didn't call you anything." And so anyway, we had a little bit of a conversation back and forth. And naturally, I called the manager the next day. I speak with her, and yes, I pulled a Karen. But you know what? That's one of the problems when it comes to overall attitude. And this is what I've noticed in some of the bigger box stores in the area. The attitude of customer service sometimes just really sucks. And there's really no nice way to put that, because it just flat out sucks. And I know when you and I worked at said establishment when we were
many moons ago,
we still figured out ways to get things to work. If people came through, we could still make your food for you because we weren't idiots. We knew how to make everything.
We knew how to count change.
We knew how to count change. We knew how to make things work, And we certainly didn't call people a dumbass as they were driving away. And if you don't know,
maybe under our breath.
I was about to say, maybe under our breath.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. However, you have to actually push a button to make those things work. So the guy was speaking directly to me. So anyway, when it comes to a lot of the mom and pop stores and the smaller stores, I don't experience anything like that much.
No, because they live and thrive on customer service.
Exactly. Now, I will tell you, some of the nicest people that I've met, and I'm going to uplift a local business here, because if you want someplace that's good, go to Weather Vane. Weather Vane Ice Cream, when they were going through a menu change not too long ago, the girl who was there took a moment, explained to me what was going on, told me that it might take an extra few minutes, and then let me decide. And she was able to take my order, and she was able to make sure that the customer was taken care of. So what I want to say there is, Jason, you've got really good people working for you over there at Weather Vane. And there are a lot of small businesses here in town that really know how to treat your customers right. So when I talk about overall attitude, I want you to think about this for a minute. If I'm crappy to someone and then kind of puts them in a bad mood, and then now they're not in the best mood as someone else, then it's kind of a chain reaction. However, while negativity can be a chain reaction, positivity can be an even larger and more infectious chain reaction. So that's kind of what I wanted to say there.
Thank you, O wise Buddha.
But, and I think that kind of plays along into part of what we were talking about earlier with the store that decided to leave town. Don't look at it as a negative. They made a decision. They left. Let's move on. There are many more things that are going on. I know the city's got a project going on one house at a time. And I've got, and maybe one home at a time. I have to look at my notes. But we've got a meeting with some city people next week, and we're going to learn more about that project. We're going to learn more about some other great things that are going on here in the town. And that's one of the things that Mac and I want to do is just kind of promote positivity within the town. Because at one time, Granite City was actually an all-American city. I know you've heard me say that before, and it would be awesome if my granddaughter could grow up in a town that could meet those standards again and could just be proud of where she goes up at and where she lives. And I want to be a proud citizen of where I live at. And that's where we're looking to you, Mr. Mayor. And
Is that where you smile and your teeth go?
We just want to make sure that we do our part and let our government do their part. And I'm 100% sure that we will see a positive turnaround in this city if our attitudes change and we support our government, we support those in the area, and we take time to uplift people and not tear people down. So, end scene.
Okay.
What do you think of that? How you like them apples? How you like them berries? You about to stroke out on me?
No. I just want to ask questions.
Ask questions.
No.
So Mark says stay positive. Mark, we agree with that. Mark says you really want it as Big Mac. Okay, just don't go after 1045. Nancy, she says, wait staffs need to instill in their brains that their tip is not a given. That's an interesting question or an interesting point there, Nancy. And Matt, you want to talk about that for a minute? Do you have any thoughts on that? Is a tip a given? Is a 20%? Should a server
Absolutely
expect
not.
it? Okay, so what are your thoughts on that?
Tips are earned. They're just not given.
Okay.
I've been to places before where I haven't left anything. They come, they give you your drink, give you your food, and you don't see them again until you're ready to leave. You're not getting. What did you do?
Now, is this a sit down?
Yes.
A sit down place? Yeah. Okay. No refills, no nothing.
I didn't go back in after
You could have sat down on,
Oh, get out of town. But in that instance, they brought you your food. That's their job. Did they go above and beyond to earn anything extra? I think that's, to me, that's what you look at is, did they go above and beyond to make sure that, attentive, not like tossed, all in your business, but were they attentive enough to where you figured, hey, they deserved it?
Okay.
To me, that's what makes the difference. Because I had someone tell me once that they start out here.
Yeah.
And it could stay there, but it could chip down based upon how their service was. And I don't think that's a bad idea either.
Now, that they make less than minimum wage, like a lot less than minimum wage in there.
I understand that.
Their wages depend on tips.
But in the same token, you just can't expect it. Customer service, they know they know what they make, okay?
Okay.
A tip is, yes, I do know what a penny tip means. Do you know what a penny tip means?
I do know what a penny tip means, and I'm thankful to say I've never received one.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Thanks, Mark. Happy Father's Day to you too, man.
Thank you. Sorry, the heat's baking my brain.
No, you're fine.
So
they know that they make less.
They know they make less. So to me, they're earning their wage by working there. Anything extra needs to be earned on that. That's just my opinion.
Okay. So this is the great part about our show, folks, because this is one of those areas that Mac and I can disagree on and still treat others civilly, right? Because
we'll see. Depends. It's going to come out of your mouth.
I tend to disagree on that aspect. I think that when you go out to eat somewhere and you sit down someplace to eat, you should expect that you're going to give a 20% tip. And now, I think that the service should exemplify that. I really do, because you're going out, they're still bringing, what's that?
Isn't that just what I said?
Well, yes, but your words were go above and beyond. I'm thinking if a server comes out, they bring you their food, they check on you, they bring you your drinks and things like that, especially if they take your order. Like, 'cause if you think about it, there are several interactions there before you even get your food. There's the greeting. Okay, they come by, they greet you, they seat you, they bring you your silverware. Most times they bring you your silverware. They get you water or your drinks or whatever. Then either the food runner or themselves bring you your food out. Then they come back out and they check on you and things like that. So those are things that are like that's the norm. So that if you're not getting that kind of service, which should be pretty rare, then maybe you need to talk with someone else. Or
Well, if that's the norm, isn't that what they get? Okay, here's my view on it. If that is if that is their job,
Mhm.
they make the hourly wage, which is what they agreed upon by accepting that job, correct?
Yeah.
I'm not talking like going above and beyond. What I meant was going above and beyond the assigned tasks, order taking, greeting, all bringing the food out, all that. What I'm talking about is carrying on a conversation. It has to be brief. How's your day today? Just because if you focus simply on that, I think you'll get a lot more than what you expect, as opposed to just treating them like another person that just walked in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you concentrate and be attentive to each table,
do your job.
But I think if you focus your attention, be in the moment, so to speak,
Mhm.
I think that goes a long way in getting the tip per se.
But shouldn't that quantify those doing something above the 20% though? Because really, if you think about it, so okay, let's compare the two. You go to a fast food joint, doesn't matter where it's at. It could be, Burger King, Jack in the Box, McDonald's, any of those places. You go there, you walk in the door, you stand there, the order taker takes your food, and then you may even talk with them for a minute or two, depending on how busy they are, right? They go, they get your food, and then you leave, right?
Mhm.
So do you typically tip someone like that? Do you typically leave a tip at McDonald's or something like that?
No.
Okay. Now, you go into a
They're
restaurant.
still serving you though.
Well, they are, but they get paid more also, right? They typically get paid more than a server.
Okay.
Okay. So now you're going into someone else's restaurant. You go in there, you sit down. They come and they wait on you instead of somebody else. They're coming to see you, right? So they make it. You go, you sit down. They get you your water. They're doing more work for you than what the person at McDonald's does for you, correct? Yet in essence, you're still paying the person at McDonald's more money because they're getting paid more, whereas the server, they're still doing their job, and they're actually, even at the basic stuff, they're doing more for you than what the McDonald's person did for you. And yet, if they don't do more than that, then you don't think they should get the extra wage. Because they're actually doing more for you than what the McDonald's person does. And you're not giving the McDonald's person a tip. Or the fast food person.
But in the same
Sorry,
time,
Mickey D's. For that one, not the earlier comment.
I see your point, but I still go back to what your wage is when you started that job. And if you want more, you have to be, I'm sure they have strategies on how to get people higher tips.
Sure, upsell, things like
Right.
that, all the time. McDonald's or the fast food restaurants do the same thing.
But in the same token, what McDonald's has to offer their employees as far as the wage makes no difference on what an Applebee's has to charge. You can't compare the two because it's a corporate decision.
So,
Now, let me ask this. Maybe you would notice, why do servers get paid so much less?
because the intent is if you go out to eat, you're going to pay the tip. That's why they
So
get
that's
paid,
an
so they can earn
expectation.
their extra, they can earn the money. Because there are some people who will pay much more than the regular 20%.
Mhm.
The expectation is if you're going to go out to eat, you should expect to pay the 20% tip. Like you should figure that into your budget out to eat.
Okay,
If you can't afford it, don't go out to eat to a sit-down restaurant and go to a fast food restaurant.
so even if the service is shoddy, you still get 20%.
There have been times I've not, but it's been crap service. But I will say there have been times also that the service has been less than desirable, and I've still given it 20%, and I might leave a note or something like that, or I may call the manager for some coaching later on, that they can give their employees, because they need to know what's going on with their employees, because if their employees aren't making money, it means they're not making money either. Let's go to a few comments here. Let's see. You guys are really engaged tonight, and we appreciate that. Shelby says that $2.5 to $3 an hour. Granted, yes, they should have great customer service. If they don't, they shouldn't be in the industry. Agreed, Shelby. I think Mac and I can both agree with that. But if someone told you where your tip was starting and they told me they were taking some away every time they didn't like something about me, I bet people not tip me because they have tattoos. LOL, 20% is standard. There is way more to serving than just getting drinks and bringing you food. She has a good point there. Sometimes the errors, may or may not be on the server if the food is undercooked or something like that.
And if you're a logical person, you can understand that.
Some people are not, though. Now, it's up to the server to make sure that the food comes out correctly.
Right.
Which some places have food runners, and if the food runner doesn't check it, then the server needs to be coaching the food runner.
Right.
Because that's everybody's tips that's happening right there.
To me, I just think if you're working in the service industry as far as a restaurant goes,
yeah,
you know that your tip is on the line. So that's what I mean by, before you take that out, let me look at it.
Yeah,
there are things that can happen.
I agree with that. Nancy says, and ask if there's anything else before they put the check on the table. Nancy, I would agree with that 100%. I believe that a great server, no, I'm going to say a good server, should come and at least make sure your drinks are refilled, offer you more drinks if you're buying paid drinks such as alcohol and things like that, because that increases your tip. Plus, it also puts forth good customer service. So I would agree with that. Shelby says also, you never know what they're dealing with that day, either at work or at home. I
understand that, but I think you and I grew up in the generation of you always have to try to leave that at home.
Yeah, I think Mac and I are on the same page with that. It's hard.
It's not.
It's really hard. It's difficult to do, and it's what separates the pros from the amateurs, because serving is a profession in a lot of places. So I do see your point, Shelby.
Absolutely.
I just don't know that I always agree with that, because by the same token, you never know what the person who just sat down at your table has been through that day. They may have come from a funeral. They may have come from something else. They may just be trying to get away from the house for a little bit. So I do think that it's up to the server as a professional to make the dining experience as enjoyable as possible for their client or customer, if you will.
And not only that, I think if you're a really good server, you can really gauge the table.
Yeah. Stephanie kind of says the same thing. She says, sometimes you don't know what someone's going there, might be having a bad day, and sometimes just what people only can get through because you don't have work experience. And again, there are different variables that go into that, and I agree. Shelby says some places make you drop the check off right away after delivering food. I've served at 2 different places where I had to immediately drop the check off. So
that's not a good.
No, that's poor practice on the business's part. But I get what you're saying there, Shelby. Stephanie says, Happy Father's Day. Thank you. And if you would, Stephanie, wish Matt a Happy Father's Day from both of us. We hope you guys are doing well. Patty, she says she worked in a different aspect of customer service. Says she dealt with customer service over the phone for a large retail store that's no longer in business. And you really don't know how horrible some customers are until you work customer service. It was always our photographer's fault. Their child had slobber on their face and they expected full refund and product. Patty, sweet Patty, I can relate to that completely as a photographer.
You forgot to get rid of the slobber?
You forget to get rid of the slobber, the dirt that's on the kid's face or something like that. Or,
I'm not.
Totally understand. And yes, you're right. Some people, their sense of humanity goes out the window. A, when they're on the phone with somebody, and B, when they're behind the keyboard. They just get 10 foot tall and bulletproof.
Telephone tough guy.
Telephone tough guy, absolutely. Lisa says, let me know what you're selling. Great point. Specials, engage. I agree. Larry says he doesn't go by percentage. He goes by the server is and how their attitude. If great service, I leave 10 to 20 and go down from there. Okay. Is that $10 to $20, Larry, or 10 to 20%?
Cents.
That's kind of what I'm going to go with. Shelby, she says, which is why I said at work too, I've worked so many places where my managers ruin the shift. Absolutely. poor leadership can cause poor customer
All
service.
starts at the top.
Yes, it does. John says, should we tip Uber Eats drivers?
I have.
I've tipped them also.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes how do you feel about the pre-tip? Like when you order something online, like
I beg your pardon?
not that pre-tip, not that kind of show, folks. But
here, I mean, to me, that's a little different. Pizza delivery.
So Larry says dollars. Okay. Thanks, Larry.
Pizza delivery, Uber Eats, DoorDash. They're not responsible for the product they're bringing you. They're just bringing you the product.
Okay.
So for them to drive, across town or whatever, I tip them, regardless of if it's on time or what have you, because they're just the ones picking it up.
Okay.
And if you look at the app, it'll show you what time they picked it up and what time they get to your door. So there's an estimated time, and if it's right around that, I'll tip. I don't tip a percentage. I'll tip, $4 or $5.
Okay. Are they responsible for making sure your order's right?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because it's already bagged. You can't look at it.
Okay. In some cases, I would agree with that.
Right.
Okay. No, that's a fair point. Larry says, as he does percentage. Well, Larry, you got me confused now because you said dollars earlier.
Doesn't take much to get you confused.
Christine says, never go under 10%, even if service sucks. Okay. I would tend to agree with you on that. Nancy, she says, my youngest once told me that the cooks might not get any of the tip. If I'm really pleased with my meal, I will include something for the cook until the person who cashes me out to be sure the cook gets their tip. That's a really good point, Nancy, because cooks. A
lot of people have those special orders that might take a little longer.
That's true. That's true. And sometimes there are some places where at the end of the night, the servers are required to tip out the cooks and the bussers and the bartenders and things like that.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
I think bartenders, maybe a little bit.
Bartenders, yeah.
Bussers. Yeah, I mean, I worked as a busser as a young kid, so sometimes I would get my own tip, and people would make it a point to say, "This is yours."
Right.
They put it in my hand, and the rule was where I worked at. It was actually Ravenelli's restaurant here in town. This is 20 years ago. This Stephanie, make a good point. I'm going to put that up here in just a minute. The tip was that unless someone put the money directly in your hand and said, "This is for you," that money went to the waiter and waitress. Mm-hmm. Anytime there's money left on the table, bussers, you weren't supposed to touch it except to get it out of the way and let the waiter or waitress come by and get it. Stephanie makes a good point here. She says cooks make more than the waiters.
Is that true?
That is true.
Okay.
That is true. Now, one of the places that I used to run, at one point before I was there, used to do group tipping, where all the tips, everybody got the tips at the same point, all the way into a jar, and at the end of the night, everybody was tipped out. I totally do not agree with that because I think that makes some people lazy.
It's redistribution of wealth.
It pretty much is, which doesn't surprise me from this individual.
That's the textbook definition.
Yes, and I definitely don't agree with that because I think it can tend to make some servers lazy while other servers work their asses off, and that's not fair to the ones who are really working. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, don't you?
No.
Certain coffee shop I used to run.
Oh.
Prior to me running it, because I didn't get behind that at all. So Shelby's going to give Christine some props here, and she said, "Preach, Christine." And if someone leaves a tip for the chef, it should go to them. Agreed. And rip out what was always hard. I don't understand it. What was always heartbreaking. We tipped out 5% to the bar and 3% to each food runner. So kind of what I was mentioning earlier. Some places require that, which I get maybe to the food runner. And it just depends. So it depends on what the food runner is making. Here's my thoughts on that. I think that a food runner should probably be a server in training. And I say that because I think that there should be levels, so to speak, and steps that people can take. Like, I would not put an untrained person out on a floor necessarily to serve my customers and be up front.
Right.
I would, use either a hostess position to train for that, or a busing position to train for that, or have the person, training for at least a good 2 weeks as a server. Because I've trained in some places for 2 days and been thrown in front of tables, and that's a lot for someone who's not used to serving or doesn't have a real service mentality or hasn't learned it. So Patty says spaghetti factory servers, split tips with bartenders and cooks. Okay. Lisa says that sucks. Like they're saying you have the ones kicking ass that deserve everything, and they get those writing off their efficient service. Now, Lisa, are you talking about splitting tips there, or
Probably. If I had to assume, that's.
Yeah. John says the one thing I leave a note for when I order delivery food is that they knock on my door and wait till they come and get the order, because my neighbors have swiped my orders. They don't do either. I don't tip. That's probably a good point, John. I mean, especially if you're not getting your food, why would you tip on that? Plus, you want to make sure that you are getting what you ordered. So I would agree with that.
Bomb your neighbors.
Yeah, and by the way, don't be a dirtbag. Don't steal food that's not yours. If you're that hungry, let somebody know. Or there are other ways. Don't steal someone else's food.
Go find a dumpster like everybody else.
So if you're John's neighbor, stop stealing his food.
Yeah.
Shelby says good runners make $12 an hour as opposed to the server, $5 an hour at a fine dining restaurant. So that's kind of a good point right there. Now, I've been in situations in that where the food runner or the busser has actually taken better care of me than the server. And I will tip out the food runner. I will tip out the busser for situations like that. So this is great conversations. Shelby says, food, my autocorrect sucks today. Shelby, I think autocorrect sucks for everybody, every day. Sometimes it's funny. So,
Like when something turns to duck instead.
right. What the duck are you talking about? Dude, shut the duck up. So the nice thing is you can typically get the gist of what someone is saying with autocorrect. And sometimes you're better off with the autocorrect. But sometimes they're pretty funny. So Stephanie says the waiters and waitresses are the ones that have to pay tax at the end of the year, not the cook or the food runner. That is a very good point because, as we know, you're supposed to claim your tips. It's another reason, if I can, I tip cash because cash is a little harder to track. Yeah. So I used
you're into laundering money, aren't you?
I did have one manager who told me they're closed and out of business now, but when I got hired, and this was back in 1989.
You can remember that far?
Maybe 1990. Well, I remember this because there are some business practices that you remember as you get older.
That's
all part of the whole learning experience, right? Yeah. So back then, the server wage was $2.35 an hour.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. Big money there, right? But when I was working there, the manager told me, he's like, "This is what your amount is." He's like, "I don't care what you report in as far as your tips go, because cash was much more common back then than it is now." He's like, "I don't care what you report. I just want you to make up the minimum wage," which I think was $3.85 at the time. But so that's kind of a good point. Pay the cash because you do have to pay taxes on that at the end of the year, and you pay taxes on it. Actually, for most places, you pay taxes on it at the end of the pay period because they'll actually take out your reported tips and taxes, so you don't have a big tax bill at the end of the year. But that was a good point that Stephanie made. John says he remembers a case at Ponderosa. Chuck, the manager, and Neil would remind us to tip the busser. That's a good point, John. I was trying to remember his name. So for those of you who have not figured it out, John and I used to work at Ponderosa here in Granton together.
No.
Yeah. It's amazing, huh? I hope that chair won't break on you.
Me too.
So yeah, John, that's a good point. Lisa says, "Yep, LOL, mine always." I think we missed her there. Shelby says, "You can also leave on a receipt that you're gifting them instead of tipping them, so they don't have to claim it."
Oh, the old workarounds.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. So for those of you who are servers out there, for those of you who are tipping, leave gifts. Here we go. No more tipping. Don't tip anybody.
Gifting.
Gift everybody. Gift to your heart's content. Give 50% if you want. But no, I mean that's a great thing. Thanks for sharing that, Shelby. Then Lisa says, "Passive aggressive Chuck, LL, stop leaning in my chair. You just got called." Actually, she just had me call you out on the show. So
my back hurts.
Well, yeah, it's gonna hurt. That chair breaks.
Would you just talk, monkey?
I am the show monkey. I am the show monkey, aren't I? Am I the monkey or are you the monkey?
I don't know.
Who's the monkey? You guys tell us. Who's the
I'm about
monkey?
to know.
I am too. I think we may make it a 45-minute show this week.
Works for me.
I think so
I'm
too.
gonna go jump into
another tirade. Another rant
Another what?
to raid?
No, I need what? I need to find cold water.
Yes. So but we're going to jump out of here, folks. It is pretty hot. So
We'll
we're
make up
hoping-
15 minutes somewhere else down the line.
Yeah, we're going to hope to get things squared away here within the studio for the air conditioning to be working in that. Also, check us out next Sunday. Trisha, the cat boss, was not able to make it with us tonight. Trisha, we know you're going through some stuff right now. We just want to pray for you and just let you know that we're thinking about you. We love you. We can't wait for you to be back on the show. We're hoping to have you on next week. But again, if things come up, no worries. We got you back. We're going to get you covered. Also want to let you know, again, June 28th at Granite City Cinema. Make sure you guys come out there. They'll get seating for, I think, at least 200 people to come there. Bring questions and watch the Granite City page for announcements. Watch the 62040 page for announcements. If you're looking for the Granite City page, it's actually Granite City 2040 is the page for that. I don't have the keyboard around me. I said put it on there. Is that on our banners already? Did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Nope.
Yep, no, it's not on there. So if you guys get a chance, check them out on Facebook. Follow them on there, and let's support our city. Let's get behind them. Ask questions. Get involved. Don't gripe if you don't get involved. Is the best advice I can tell you, because you have people that are working for you. Let them work for you, but in order to do that, they've got to know what you want. So I would definitely encourage you to be at those meetings. If not, watch them online. You can stream them here at Mac and Chuck. You can stream them on the Granite City page also. And again, we're proud to be a part of that. And we're appreciative of the city for giving us that opportunity. And I think, lastly, thank you, Christine. Happy Father's Day to you, or not to you, but thank you. Happy Father's Day.
It's the heat, man. I'm telling you.
It's the heat. It's the heat. Saturday the 26th at 3 p.m. Granite City School District Hall of Fame meeting to discuss making a movie about the book Men of Granite, hosted by Randall Manoyan. And we have some things in the work to cover that on our show also. So do check them out. Check that out. If you can get to that meeting, that would be awesome. And Lisa says we have words for the cat boss. Sorry, Trish. We've got an issue we've got to talk to you about. We really need your help. So we're definitely going to be talking to you about that. Christine says she plays dad too. Yes, you do. And, so yeah. And again, to all those moms out there that are pulling double duty, you're doing a fantastic job. I know some of you personally, Christine included, my cousin Katie, you guys are doing great jobs raising your children. And Sandy says, Happy Father's Day, Mac and Chuck. And I think with that, Mac, you got anything else you want to add tonight?
Cold water.
Cold water. Stay safe, guys. Stay cool, and we'll catch you next Saturday or Sunday.
Whatever day.
Whatever day.